Now let's move a little bit away from the gear and more of the music process. When you guys are writing a song, what thought process what goes through your thoughts in your mind on how you write your part to the song?
Well, it really just depends on what the other guys are playing, what part we're trying to do. If is it going to be a verse for Fred to either rap on, or is he going to sing on this, or what, and then through that, I'll just make my beat according to what's going on between the bass and the guitar to either try to accent, but not to get too difficult. It's just whatever I kind of hear with it,
What are your thoughts on playing with a click?
I think everybody should practice to clicks. I mean, I certainly, when growing up, I don't do it so much now, but I used to practice to a drum machine all the time, just to find a bearing and find a center of where meter is supposed to be, you know what I mean? And then, but I don't particularly, when we play live, we don't use a click, and that's definitely, you feel more free that way, But I mean, I think it's good for recording too. It can be good, but it can also, be more like a hamper if you're trying to push and pull with certain kinds of things. If so I don't know. I mean, I think it's great to practice too.
What do you like better? Do you like to play behind the click, on the click, or in front of the click?
I've just naturally heard people, like my buddies and everybody, always tell me that I'm just definitely a little bit behind the click, But that's just my style.
You got that laid back,
yeah. Unless I'm messing up, and then it's just then there is no click, there is no spoon.
How do you practice? Like when you sit down and I've got X amount of time to go in my studio and just shed. Mm-hmm. How do you practice? Like, do you have a certain regiment that you go through, or? Normally,
I'll just turn on the drum brain, whatever I'm using, and just use the little whatever without drums. It's just a little presets, and I'll just jam over those and then solo over those, or whatever, try different things, That's usually when I have a limited amount of time. If I have a long time, like a week or whatever, I'll just go in and just start shedding on snare drum, and then just practice beats to the click or whatever, and then, I mean, that's how I shed now. Try different time signatures, mess around with that a little bit.
I know you have a background in jazz.
Yeah.
So how did you? How long have you been studying jazz, or when did you start studying?
I started studying jazz when I was in high school. I went to a performing arts school, and I took lessons from a guy named Rick Kirkland, and he played with Ray Charles for a long time, and that's really when I got into it, because it was more of a thing where it's like I really liked it, but I was more of a rock person. I didn't really understand it, and I really wanted to, just get my drum vocabulary, build it stronger, So I studied with him, and that's kind of how I got into it. And then I just started playing with a bunch of guys that were playing around town and stuff, sax players and bass players, and that's really kind of how I got into jazz, And then we started our band, so then I kind of brushed the jazz off and just now we have kind of an eclectic mix of stuff. So,
do you find that the jazz has really influenced your playing style as of right now?
I feel that jazz has been able to make me play and feel things without having to think about playing things, if that makes any sense to you. Mm-hmm. It's a thing that taught me phrasing in 4s and 8s and 16s and 32s to naturally feel music in the phrasing, as opposed to before, as I was just playing just beats or whatever, I'd have to think, here it comes apart, and it did away with that for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because, as solos in jazz, when you're playing time and somebody's soloing, naturally they're doing a 16 or 32 bar solo, so you start feeling music in those combinations, and then, you're trading 4s or whatever. So that's what it did for me.
Now, as far as influences, right. From when you first started playing drums, who were the guys that you looked up to and you wanted to be like?
Lars Ulrich, John Bonham. My brother was still is, huge Led Zeppelin fan, so I have baby pictures of me on his drum set because he plays drums, and he was always playing Kiss or Led Zeppelin, and all kinds of stuff. So he kind of got me into, you know, as growing up. And then when I got a little older, I mean, I listened to a bunch of different metal drummers. You know, loved Rush. Then I started getting into like the jazz stuff. Then I started listening to Elvin Jones, Jack DeJohnette, Buddy Rich, you know, Peter Erskine. Got it. I mean, the list goes on. You know what I mean? I could sit here all day and talk to you about Vinnie Colaiuta. You know.
So how do you feel that you've progressed as an artist, like versus where you were at your 20-year-old self? How do you feel that where you've come since then?
I feel like I've become more of a musician instead of just a drummer. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, if they're, you know, I know that's rhetorical, but
no,
yeah,
that's a valid point.
You know, like I'm more patient, I think, and I'm more thoughtful of all the music going on around me instead of just, well, what can I do here, and what, you know what I mean? So I think I've become more patient in listening to music and thinking about what should really fit what I'm trying to do and trying to say more without doing too much. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
What advice would you give players that are looking to make playing drums as their career?
Practice, listen to as many different kinds of styles of music as you can, and try to focus on metronome and playing with clicks and being just as solid as you can be when you play beats, because that's what you're gonna if you're doing studio work or whatever, that's what people are gonna want from you, you know. So that would be the three things that I would focus on.
Like not all the flashy stuff.
Yeah, not all the flashy stuff. I mean, you need to know it, but you know, that's not what, you know, really great drummers get hired for being precise, you know, playing with clicks really well and, you know, taking instruction from people. So.
Okay.